everyone, from Sarah. Today I'm showing you this new Tunisian leafy design I will be using in future projects. So this is also supposed to be a support video for all those following the pattern. I've named this design the Patchwork Stitch pattern. For all of you practicing this new design, I suggest you use a tubular cotton yarn, such as the one I'm using here, or a thick yarn, because it makes it easier to visibly see where to insert the hook from time to time. Also, since this is a stitch pattern with an 18 row repetition, and I don't want the video to be too long, I will keep the explanations shorter than usual. But please remember, you will find all useful links to the stitches and techniques used in this video, both in the description below and in the top right hand corner of your screen. So let's begin. This stitch pattern can be worked from a chain in multiples of 10 plus 2 stitches. The plus 2 stitches are the side stitches of the project, while the stitches in between the side stitches represent the stitch pattern itself, as usual. So here I have started from a standard foundation row of 22 stitches, so it's 10 plus 2 side stitches. So let's start with the repetition, with row repetition number 1. We will start with a yarn over. Now we will work into the next 8 stitches in Tunisian knit stitch. Tunisian knit stitch, I remind you, is done by inserting the hook in between the front and back vertical bar of a stitch. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here in the next 2 stitches we will make a so-called twisted decrease, which is done by inserting the hook not from right to left under 2 stitches together as if for a standard decrease, but from left to right, twisting the yarn like so, yarn over, pull through, and this is our twisted decrease. So this is the first segment, and we will repeat the very same pattern on the second 10 stitches. So remember, we have started with a yarn over, then 8 stitches in Tunisian knit stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here we will make another twisted decrease, like so. Here in our last border stitch, our left side stitch of the work, we will work a so-called neat closing stitch, which is done, as you know, by inserting the hook both under the front bar and its back bar of that border stitch, yarn over and pull through, and draw up a loop, and the return pass for the whole stitch pattern is the standard one. So we yarn over and pull through 1 loop only first, then we yarn over again and pull through 2 loops together, repeating the second movement until the end of the row and until we are left with just 1 loop on the hook. Row repetition number 2. So as you see, we are doing a yarn over and we are decreasing, of course, because where we increase we have to decrease as well in order to keep the stitch count regular. So in this case, what will happen throughout the stitch pattern is we are working basically 8 stitches on each segment, but we are shifting the place where we make our yarn over. Okay, so this means before and after the yarn over, we have to work a number of stitches that makes 8 altogether. So since we have made 8 knit stitches in row repetition number 1, we will make the same 8 stitches in row repetition number 2, but we will shift the place where we make the yarn over. So this is where we started previously, this is our yarn over, and here we will draw up our first loop. So we insert the hook in the space here, also knitwise, yarn over and draw up a loop. This is stitch number 1. Now we will make the yarn over, and since we have already worked 1 stitch here at the beginning, we need to work 7 more knit stitches, and we will start from here. So knit stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we have reached the place where we had the twisted decrease in previous row, and this is where we will keep on making the twisted decrease. You know, I like to stretch out a bit the first of the 2 vertical bars that are involved in the decrease in order to make the movement easier, and this is the twisted decrease. Here in the second segment I will repeat what I have done here in the first segment. So this is where our yarn over was, so we will draw up a loop from here, stitch number 1. Now we make the yarn over, and we have 7 stitches left to work knitwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Time for a twisted decrease, which will always be at the end of the row for this section here. Finishing as usual with a neat closing stitch. Here, yarn over, pull through and draw up a loop and return pass. Repetition number 3. Just like before, we will work now 2 stitches before the yarn over and 6 stitches after the yarn over. So we insert the hook knitwise here, then this is the space created by the yarn over a previous row. As you see, it's a kind of well, you have the stitch as usual, but it's wider open than a normal stitch, if you can see it. So you actually do work it knitwise. So you go and insert the hook in that space here knitwise and drop a loop from here. That's 2, 1, 2, without counting the initial one. Now we yarn over and we have 6 stitches left to work, beginning from this one here, okay, here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is all correct because here I have come to the place where I need to make my twisted decrease. And here it is. Okay, and I repeat the very same thing here on the second segment. So 2 stitches. You can see it maybe more clearly here. One is a normal one, let's say. The other one is this stitch that's wider open because we had a yarn over in previous row, and we insert the hook there in between and drop another loop. That's 2. Now we make the yarn over and we will begin counting our remaining 6 stitches from here. This is very important for me because when you're using a yarn that's not 1-ply, it may be a little bit more difficult to recognize where to insert the hook. I swear, because I've tried it myself. Here, twisted decrease. Neat closing stitch and return pass. In row repetition number 4, we will begin with 3 stitches, 3 knit stitches before the yarn over. So 1, 2, and 3 here in the space. Then yarn over and 5 stitches after the yarn over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, twisted deck, twisted decrease, and here I repeat what I have done in the first segment. So 3 knit stitches, 2 and 3, yarn over, and 5 knit stitches. 3 and 5 makes 8. Finishing with a twisted decrease again, and border stitch, neat closing stitch, and return pass. You can already see the design forming. Row repetition number 5. Here we have 4 knit stitches before the yarn over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and 4 knit stitches after the yarn over. Ta-da. Twisted decrease, and repeat. 4 knit stitches, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and 4 knit stitches after the yarn over. Twisted decrease. Neat closing stitch. Return pass. Repetition number 6. Now we have 5 knit stitches before the yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here in between. Yarn over and 3 knit stitches after the yarn over. 1, 2, 3. Twisted decrease, and repeat here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over and 3. 2, 3, twisted decrease, neat closing stitch, and return pass. Row repetition number 7. Now we have 6 knit stitches before the yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over and 2 stitches, 2 knit stitches after the yarn over. Twisted decrease, and repeat here. So 6 knit stitches, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over and 2 knit stitches after the yarn over. Twisted decrease, end stitch, and return. Row repetition number 8. Now we have 7 knit stitches before the yarn over. 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we yarn over and we have 1 knit stitch left to work to make 8 after the yarn over. So twisted decrease here and repeat on the following segment. Yarn over, 1 knit stitch, twisted decrease, end stitch, and return pass. Row repetition number 9. So here we have to work 8 knit stitches, the whole of our 8 knit stitches. We have 5 here, 6, 7, 8. Then we make our yarn over and immediately the twisted decrease. So we had started with the yarn over in row repetition number 1, and now in row repetition number 9, our yarn over has shifted of 8 places. And we'll repeat the same on the following segment. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the space, yarn over, don't forget, and twisted decrease. Twisted decrease, end stitch, and return pass. So, in row repetition number 10, we will move on to the second section of the stitch pattern. Here things are changing, so we will start immediately with a decrease, in this case a standard decrease. So we go with the hook under the first 2 vertical bars together, yarn over and pull through. Now we need to work 8 knit stitches after the decrease. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, and 8 here. Now we yarn over, and we will repeat what we have done here in the first segment in the following segment. So we start with a standard decrease and work 8 stitches knitwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and yarn over. So don't forget the yarn over. Now we finish our forward pass with a neat closing stitch here and return pass. So, row repetition number 11. We start the second section of the work, always with a standard decrease. So this is easy to remember. So standard decrease here. Now we need to work 7 knit stitches in the following stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we will yarn over and we will work our 8th stitch, taking it from the space formed by the yarn over in previous row. So here, and this makes 8. And we'll repeat the same in the second segment of the row, starting from here. Okay, this little bar here is still part of the yarn over of previous row, so we have worked in it already. So here we will start with a standard decrease. 7 knit stitches. Now the yarn over, and here we drop the 8th loop on the hook, end stitch here, and return pass. Now you know already what happens in row repetition number 12. We start with our standard decrease, work 6 knit stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we yarn over, and we needed to work 2 more stitches. So 1, we are taking it from the space of the yarn over in previous row, and the second one is very clearly here, another knit stitch, and this makes 8 stitches altogether. Now in the following segment we'll repeat what we have done here. So standard decrease, 6 knit stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over, 1 and 2 stitches taken from the remaining of the forward pass, end stitch, and return. Row repetition number 13. You know already what happens. You can now see the design forming. You will see the beautiful contrasting design only after so many repetitions. Okay, at the beginning it's not so easy to see the defined design, but then later on, after, let's say, the whole of the 18 rows repetition, it will be clearly visible and beautiful to see. So row repetition number 13, we will proceed. So standard decrease, 5 knit stitches, yarn over, plus 3, 1, 2, 3, and repeat. Standard decrease, 2 together, 5, yarn over, plus 3, 1, 2, and 3, knit closing stitch, return pass. You see the beautiful and sinuous leafy design created with this pattern is given by the decreases. So you can see that the standard decrease, for example here at the beginning of row repetition number 14, the standard decrease looks towards left, while the twisted decrease done here shows towards right. Okay, so this gives different directions to the design and creates the beautiful pattern. So here we have started with a standard decrease. We have 4 knit stitches to work here. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat here. So standard decrease, 4 knit stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and 4 knit stitches after the yarn over, and knit closing stitch, return pass. The next row repetition, standard decrease, 3 knit stitches, 2, 3, yarn over, 5 knit stitches after the yarn over. And repeat in the second segment. Standard decrease, 3 knit stitches, yarn over, 5 knit stitches. And knit closing stitch. Return pass. Next row repetition, I think it's number 16, but I will write it, don't worry. Standard decrease, 2 knit stitches, yarn over, 6 knit stitches, starting from the space, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'll show you again in the second segment. So standard decrease, 2 knit stitches, yarn over, 6 knit stitches, end stitch, and return pass. Row repetition number 17. We start always with our standard decrease, then we work 1 knit stitch here, then yarn over and 7 knit stitches in the next stitches. We repeat the same here, so standard decrease, 1 knit stitch, yarn over, plus 7 knit stitches. End stitch and return pass. Final row repetition is number 18. We start with our standard decrease and we immediately yarn over, and then we work 8 knit stitches in the next stitches, starting from the one taken from the space formed from the yarn over our previous row. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We repeat the same here in the second segment. So standard decrease, yarn over immediately, and 8 knit stitches in the next stitches. End stitch. And return pass. Okay, so what happens now that we have finished our 18 rows repetition is you would need to start all over again. So from repetition number 1 here, so starting with a yarn over and then making a twisted decrease here to change direction again of our design. Okay, so as you see, 18 rows repetition is a high number of repetitions, but the pattern is really very repetitive. So if you just pay attention with the stitch count and with inserting the hook in the right places, you should not go wrong, and it's easy to memorize, I believe. I'm using it right now on some testing projects, and I tell you, it's absolutely easy to remember and everything. So this is it for today. This is a beautiful stitch pattern. I love it. I hope you like it too. I will post pictures in the community section of my finished projects or of parts of projects of whips, so you can see how they look like and are maybe inspired by this stitch design. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!